Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sex Advent Calendar, 25 days of sex education all through the month of December. I have my friend and colleague, Roxi Delladona, with me today. She is the owner, the founding owner, in fact, of Cleveland Exotic Dance, and she is also a sex educator based out of Cleveland. Surprise, surprise. And I am so excited to have her here to talk a little bit about pelvic floor health.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me into this 25 days project. I think it's a wonderful thing. So I'm going to talk about pelvic floor health. And sometimes when you think about pelvic floor health, there's some certain things that may pop up in your mind right away. You're like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. And those things might be, well, I am not old. You know, you think about incontinence, or maybe you think I'm not pregnant, I've never been pregnant. You might think about, women who've had children are told to do their Kegels after to get things toned back up again. So certain things and come up, and people think that, well, that's not for me. It's for everybody. It doesn't matter what gender you are. We all have a pelvic floor, and everybody can benefit from bringing it back up to a healthy state, because most people aren't fully connected to that area.
So what exactly is the pelvic floor?
So it is an entire system of muscles. It's not just one muscle, and it covers everything from the pubic symphysis, which is right in front where you feel that bone, all the way to your tailbone in the back, and the entire width of your pelvis. So it is a network of muscles that run in all different directions, connecting those areas. And there's also 3 layers of it coming up within the body. The pelvic floor has deeper connections with the rest of the body. A healthy pelvic floor will stretch as you breathe in, because the diaphragm, when you breathe in, expands into your abdominal area. The organs get pushed down, and the pelvic floor has to be there to support that pressure. A lot of gymnasts and high-level athletes like that will have pelvic floor problems because of all of the pressure downward from their sport. So you can think of the pelvic floor as the bottom of not just the pelvic area, because we're talking about, sexual health, but the entire torso and abdominal area. So if we take just the abdominals, the diaphragm's like the lid, and the pelvic floor is the base. And now you have your transverse abdominis muscle, which is the deepest abdominal muscle. That's like, think of like a corset. And when it squeezes in, it gathers everything in. So they all have to work together. And when they're not working together, you're not breathing right. You're not connecting to that deepest root of your body correctly. For people who menstruate and experience some cramping, you might notice cramping and pain improves as you start to really work this area. When the uterus starts cramping to expel the menstrual fluid, it's pulling on other muscles. As the uterus tightens, it's pulling on the round ligaments, which start to pull on other support structures. And when you pull on a muscle that's weak, sometimes it spasms up by tightening to protect itself. So weakness in a muscle doesn't necessarily mean that it's loose and lax and doesn't have tone. It may also mean that it's chronically tight.
That makes sense. So a stronger pelvic floor allows for the contraction and relaxation to happen more naturally when you're menstruating.
Right.
Okay.
So vaginal tone is not just about being tight. Being, like I just said, being tight all the time is a problem. That's not really what you want. You want to be able to control the area. So you want to be able to push or pull in or just relax. So when you have all that, your orgasms can get more powerful. It can also help people who haven't had orgasm experience that for the first time. When you're connected to being able to control certain muscles in your body, you're really embodying that area, and that can be a difficult thing for a lot of people. Just with our societal pressures for not really inhabiting that area of our bodies, we get disconnected from it mentally. So working on the physical can help bring the mental part into it as well. And you just become more connected and experience just better orgasms because the energy is just flowing a lot better. Not just vagina owners, those with penis ejaculatory control. So the multiple orgasm sort of male, it starts with being able to control the ejaculation and experience the orgasm without that physical release. So when you've got the pelvic floor control, you can start to get a handle on that. Stronger erections, if you know, even from prostate recovery surgery, that is also part of that recovery process. It's for, like I said, it's for everybody. We all have those muscles.
Can you give like one or two suggestions about how to start keying into that area of our bodies, and what are some things we should be thinking about?
And this isn't sexy talk, but it's real talk. So you've probably heard that you can be on the toilet urinating and stop the flow of urine, and there you go, you've got it. Well, kind of. It's number one, you should know that's not an exercise. That should not be your Kegel workout. It is a way to identify one area of the pelvic floor. So depending on your anatomy, there's 2 or 3 areas that you need to identify. With the vagina, there's that third one that comes in. So cutting off the flow of urine is a front section. And then, well, to put it very plainly, pretending like you're holding in a fart is getting into the back section. So you can do those separately, and you can even pretend, you don't even have to be peeing. You can pretend and like, okay, cut off the flow of urine and then hold in a fart. Okay, so you've got the front and the back.
I feel like whenever people talk about pelvic floor therapy, like it's kind of, we're doing this in our head as you explain it. Like it's,
I know.
You can't help it.
So now, for those with a vagina, I'm going into the third area. With the front and the back, the feeling is kind of like a lifting upward when you do it. With the vaginal area, there's 2, and you should be able to control them separately. So there is a gathering in right around the opening of the vagina, like think of like maybe like closing a drawstring bag. And then separately, you can then lift up, because remember I said there's 3 layers to the pelvic floor. So you should be able to pull and lift through those 3 layers. I guess my other thing is you don't always want to be pulling in. Remember, muscle has to be both flexible and strong. So being able to fully relax. Sometimes that's the main problem for a lot of people, is they just don't, it's just chronically tight. And that could be, of course you want to check with your medical professional, but it could be a cause of like painful sex or painful orgasms and that sort of stuff. Is just that chronic tightness. So learning to relax, let your belly out. We breathe so much up here. Breathe into your belly, let it push down. Not like push bear down, but just relax and open through the entire butt. Open your inner thighs, relax your jaw even. There's a connection. We get a lot of tension here, and then we'll get a lot of tension down there too.
Any last thoughts for our listeners?
Just, I guess, go slowly. It's not something that you can really make a strong connection to overnight. Like I said, it's more than just the Kegel exercises, more than just squeezing. There's a lot of different exercises you can do. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. If you are experiencing any medical conditions, you may, or even recovery from trauma, you may want to make sure that you're doing these exercises in conjunction with your therapist or other health professional. But if you're, you know, on a healthy mental and physical state generally, just have fun exploring it.
Thank you so much, Roxi. That was wonderful and really informative. And for anyone listening at home, you should absolutely go check out Cleveland Exotic Dance. Amazing, fun classes for movement specifically, and Roxi does teach a lot of these topics in studio as well. I had the pleasure of visiting for Sexual Wellness September, but I believe that those classes go on frequently throughout the year. And thank you, as always, for tuning in. We will have more videos coming at you all through December. Take care and have a great day.